In this video, we're going to talk about how to go from 0 to 10K a month in sales with Amazon FBA online arbitrage. And so in this video, we're going to go step by step about how to actually make that happen. And just like anything, this is going to be a skill that you are going to have to learn. Reselling is a skill in and of itself. Just like regular sports players, the professional athletes are just really good at the basics, and they know a few advanced techniques. Getting really good at the basics of being able to purchase items profitably, send them in profitably, and reprice them profitably are the basic skills that you're going to need in order to be able to scale this from 0 to 10K a month. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing you're going to want to do, if you haven't done this already, is you're going to want to make an Amazon seller account. So here's the page where you make an Amazon seller account. You can make either the professional plan or the individual plan. You can not pay for anything with the individual plan, and then once you get really going with this and start selling over 40 units a month, you can start doing the professional plan. But for now, just sign up for an account and get started with that, because it does take several weeks for you to get approved with this. And they will probably need to call you or be on the phone with you in order to verify you are who you say you are so that you can open the account. So be prepared for that. Besides that, it's nothing too crazy. Just make sure that your name and address and bank account all line up together. That way the information is all the same and for you. There's nothing too complicated about it. Just make sure that your name and bank account and address all match together and that it is all for your information. The second thing to do on this step from 0 to 10K a month is to get the tool 𝗬𝗂 and learn how to use it. Basically, this tool is going to be $20 a month, and it is the foundation of being able to validate the prices and the sales velocity of the items you're buying. Imagine purchasing tens of thousands of dollars worth of product without actually knowing they're going to sell. Basically, 𝗬𝗂 solves this problem for you and gives you very good information in order to purchase based on past information and not just on, oh, I feel like this item is going to sell well. When you're throwing thousands of dollars in the game, you don't want to be purchasing stuff off of, oh, I think this is going to sell. Oh, this feels like it's going to sell. Oh, maybe this will sell. No, purchase based on data, and this is the data that you need. So get good at this, learn this. And I'm going to show you a few examples of how to read a 𝗬𝗂 chart at the very basic level. So here we are on a Nike sock listing, and we're going to take a look at the 𝗬𝗂 in order to validate what price this item sells for and what sales velocity this item is at. So once you download the 𝗬𝗂 and get the 𝗬𝗂 graph, you can download the Chrome extension and it'll pop up just like this on every Amazon listing automatically. Looking at all this, it feels very complicated. There's kind of a lot going on. We're going to make it very simple here. We're going to uncheck everything, and we're just going to look at this green line for a second. So this green line is basically telling us what sales rank this item has historically been at and what it is at now. We see that this is a currently 1200 rank in clothing and shoes and jewelry. If that makes no sense, what you can do is you can go to this free tool here. You don't have to do anything for this tool. And you can type, I wonder how many sales a 1200 in clothing and shoes is. It gives a ballpark of how many sales this whole listing, including all potential variations if there are variations. It looks like this one doesn't have any, but all variations of the listing. It gives a ballpark of all of the sales on this listing, including any potential variations, which on this one there are no variations, but some there are variations, and so I'll talk about how to determine that. But at a very basic level, this is the line that shows us how much demand this item has. And then the main thing, if you are wanting to sell new products, is the buy box price. And so you can see here over the last year or so, this price has been anywhere between $35 all the way down to $24. Basically, you can use this to understand how the price performs over a period of time, and therefore you can purchase this knowing, okay, there's very low chance that this is going to go much below $25. and therefore be confident knowing you're purchasing it at the right price. So really at a very basic level, if you just use these two things, you would do pretty well. You can also take a look at the new offer count here, which shows how many sellers are on the listing at any given time. And so we can see that for a while it was pretty steady, and then it started to go up and started to go up a little bit. And we do notice that as the number of sellers goes up, the price also does come down. And so if you do see this pattern of number of sellers going up, it is often going to be a little bit more of a risky play here. But we do see that the number of sellers is going down. And so this listing does seem to be going back to a state of normal for this listing. So the main thing to keep in mind here is that if you see this pattern of sellers going up, it is very possible that this price could start to come down because there's more competition on the listing. Basically, just keep these three things in mind, and at a very basic level, this will help save a lot of mistakes and save you a lot of money in the long run. And then some listings are going to have variations. Maybe it's different sizes, different model numbers, different colors. And so when you do this calculation of how many sales per month in the Jungle Scout, that's going to be for the entire listing, including all of these variations. So let's say the last one had 8,000 sales for the whole listing and it had variations. Each variation doesn't get 8,000 sales. All the total gets 8,000 sales. So we want to validate to be sure that each is actually getting sales. So let's say we found the 7.5 to 8.5 profitably of white. There's two ways that we can take a look at this. We can go to the variations tab and we can take a look and see what the ratings are on each variation. So for example, this white 7.5 to 8.5 is getting around 6% of the ratings, and we can basically guess that based on that, if people are actually gonna be leaving ratings, it means that potentially ballpark, this is getting 6% of the sales of the whole listing. Another way that we can do this to confirm that there's actually sales velocity is we can go to data, offers, prime, and take a look at this. And I mean, this one, it's showing that just Amazon has been selling this. So that's information for us that we probably wouldn't want to hop on this one. But we could see here, if this was another listing that other people were selling, we could see other people and their stock history, and we could see that their stock history is going down. They're actually selling these units. It's a ballpark estimator, but you can kind of see that people are actually getting sales and therefore know that you can at least purchase some of these items to sell. So that is a very basic nutshell of how to use 𝗖cie, and you can grow from there, and at the same time, that's going to save you a lot of money. So another thing you're going to want in addition to 𝗖cie is a calculator to calculate your profits after fees on Amazon. And so there's a couple of different ways that you can do this, but a very free, easy method is to use the FBA calculator for Amazon seller app. So I'm up on the page. It's literally just called this. You basically download it as a Chrome extension. You basically will click here. It'll say add to Chrome, and then you can pin it, and then you'll see it here. And then when you're up on an Amazon page, you can go ahead and click this and it'll pop up here. And so if you feel confident based on the 𝗖cie graph and everything going on here that you can sell this, for example, we'll just say $26.99 because that's the current price, except it's buy boxed higher, but we'll just do this. So if we think that we can sell it for $27.70 after fees, that's going to be $17 profit. I would also put maybe 50 cents per pound of whatever this is. So maybe this will be 25 cents to ship to Amazon. And then let's say we were able to find these for $12, for example. If that was the case, we found these for $12. After all the fees and our cost of goods, this will be $5.61 profit. It'll be an ROI of 46%. And basically you're going to use this calculator before you make any purchases in conjunction with the 𝗬𝗂 to make sure that you're purchasing and selling at the right price. And from there, if you want a slightly easier and more information tool to use, something that you can use is called SellerAmp. And so SellerAmp is also going to pop up like this, but it gives some more information. It gives a very similar ballpark like this Jungle Scout tool that we were using before on how many sales per month everything's getting. You can also enter in prices here. You can enter in your cost of goods here, and you can see your ROI, your potential profit. You can set it so that let's say you want a 40% ROI, then you know, okay, I need to purchase this for $12.70 or less in order to get my 40% ROI. This tool will also give you the best-selling rank. It'll kind of just encapsulate some of the things that you're looking for here. I would suggest using this free FBA calculator. Just keep your costs really low, keep this really risk-free, and get through using this calculator. And then once you're serious about this, once you've been getting some sales and some profit, this is a good tool to use because this is only around 20 bucks a month. And so this is a really helpful tool as well. This tool also, you can scroll down here and see a lot of other information. But one thing that I like is being able to just glance at who is selling this. And from there, this is going to help with the next method of actually finding profitable products, because what we can do is we can just click into their store. But more about that in a second. So the next part of this is finding products that are profitable to sell. And so if you saw my last video, I talked a lot about how whether you're doing thrifting, whether you're doing retail arbitrage, whether you're doing Amazon FBA books, you're going to have to look through a lot of items before you find profitable items. And it's really the same way with online arbitrage. So I would suggest doing this by searching for the type of item that you're wanting to search. So let's say I was wanting to sell apparel and I had my Nike end gate. So let's say that I wanted to sell Nike sweatpants. So I would search that. And then what I would do is click into one of these listings, and maybe even several of these listings, and take a look at the sellers who are selling these items. And then from there, we can actually click into their store and see all of their items that they're selling. And, you know, they're Amazon sellers, so they're probably trying to make money. They're probably profitable items, and we can probably find those to purchase like they found them to purchase. On top of that, what we're going to do is we're going to look through stores of people who have not been selling on Amazon for years and years and years. That way, they don't have as sophisticated of techniques of finding profitable items, and therefore it's going to be a little easier for us to find these items profitably. So we're going to go ahead and click into one of these, probably the more expensive one, so that there's a little bit more meat on the bone. And there's two ways of looking at the sellers on a listing. The basic way of doing this, if you don't have SellerAmp, is to just click in here, and you can see this stack of sellers. If you're selling Prime, I would probably tick it to Prime. And from here, you can kind of take a look at all of these sellers. This person has a lot of feedback, a bit less feedback, slightly less feedback, a lot less feedback, pretty big store, very big store, kind of. And so all of these sellers are kind of in different stages of their journey. If they have hundreds or thousands of feedback, they are probably massive sellers with massive skill in finding these items profitably. They probably know about coupons that you don't know about. They probably know how to do skills that you don't know how to do. But let's say this guy, for example, this 5 rating person, or this 19 rated person, or this 5 rated person, or this 17 or 19 rated person. I mean, these people probably are still making full-time income selling on Amazon. And for all we know, these other people are as well. They're probably also slightly newer sellers, and so we can probably find the items that they are selling much, much easier. So I would suggest looking at people who have as little feedback as possible as you're getting started, as you're developing the skill of finding profitable items. And then as you get better and better, start looking at bigger and bigger stores, because you're going to understand where they're coming from and understand how they're purchasing items at a profitable price as you continue to grow in this skill. But for now, looking at someone with a couple hundred feedback probably is going to be very confusing about how they're making any money, because they have skills that we may not have. And then also you can take a look at these stores. If you have SellerAmp, just by scrolling down here And you'll see all of these people right here. And you can also click into their stores just by clicking in like this. And being able to click in like this is helpful because all of their items have the 𝗬𝗶𝗶 right up here on the side, and so you can just kind of scroll through and see what types of things you're liking from their store. Whereas if you do it this way, it's going to end up looking like this, which still works for sure. You're just going to have to hover over in order to get the 𝗬𝗶𝗶 to show up here. And so looking at the sellers this way, you're just going to click in here and you're going to be able to see the sellers here. The way that it's going to look this way also still works, but you're just going to have to hover over, and then you're going to see the 𝗬𝗶𝗶 in the bottom right there, as we can see. And basically from here, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be Googling these items and using the FBA calculator to see if we can get these items profitably. So let's say we were looking at that 5 feedback seller here, and we wanted to start Googling and figuring out if we can sell these items profitably. So let's say we just scroll down a little bit. We see on the 𝗬𝗶𝗶 here that they're a bit over $50. We also see the buy box here is $54. And if we want a 40% ROI, we're going to need to purchase these at $28. So what we can do is we can click this Google button, or we can cut and paste this and put it into Google and see what we can find. We see here that there's several different places to purchase this. It looks like there's other sites. And so if you really want to go deep into this, you can dig into all these websites, or you can just do it very quickly based on this. You can also go over here and see what's going on. You're going to want to find a match between what they have and what Google is selling. So we're looking for around $28. It actually looks like a lot of these are actually very close. And so when it's very close like that, there's often sales on these websites that can kind of push it over the edge, or we can be willing to sell something for a 20% ROI instead of a 40% ROI. So this is looking pretty close here, so we'll go ahead and click in here. And so if you want more information about the listing, you can click right here and open up the page so that you can compare it to the source page. So we're looking at these sweats, we're looking at these sweats, and right now it looks like we're hovered over small, the small size, and we're on the small size here. And so this one, it looks like it was registering with this sale included. Let's go ahead and see here. Yeah, so it was saying $32.99. So I mean at $45, if we want to use our calculator, if we sell this at 60 bucks, $45, that's literally nothing. But it looks like there's a sale going on here. So for every $50 spent, you earn $15 in Kohl's cash. So some people will bake that into their buy cost. You can do that if you want. This is almost $50, so we could just say $13 off of this. So $32 at $32, that's profitable. But basically this is what you do. You find matches like this between a store and Amazon. You can look at all the other sizes and the other colors and see what's profitable here. Once you have a better idea of what types of things you're looking for, you can find the storefronts who are selling a lot of apparel, find the storefronts who are selling a lot of beauty and personal care, and you can try to target those stores in order to find the items that you're looking for. You can also target certain sellers who look like they are sourcing from Kohl's, because most likely they're going to be sourcing more stuff from Kohl's. You can storefront stock the people who are supplying Walmart type items. And so you'll get more of a feel for this as you do this more and more, to be looking for the store that you are going to find the most items from that is in your niche. So in order to get from 0 to 10K a month, on Amazon FBA online arbitrage, you're also going to have to list your items and do some kind of bookkeeping, most likely. There's kind of two main ways that you can list on Amazon. You can list your items straight into Seller Central, and this will work, and I would probably suggest doing that at the very start until you are making some sales. But a much faster way to do this that I would suggest is Inventory Lab as soon as you are done with the pain of listing things through Seller Central and having things take a long time. Inventory Lab is going to streamline that process, and your buy costs are also going to be in there. And because of that, you're going to be able to do bookkeeping much easier. So if you do have a budget, this is a very good tool. This will help you keep track of your profits without having to manually go into Amazon and do that yourself, which is a pain. And so let's say we had purchased some of our items and we were to list them on Inventory Lab. So what you'd do is you'd go to list and click list and prep. And then what you'd do is you'd click new batch. You can name it whatever you want. You'd select the address that you're shipping from and click I will label all my items, and then click create. And then from there, let's say we purchased these gray sweats that we were looking at earlier. You can take the ASIN from either SellerAmp here, the link here, or you can scroll all the way down to this product details and get the ASIN here. And you're going to go ahead and put it in the search, click search, select, and let's say we plan on selling these for $64.50 and we purchased 7 of them. These were an average of $32 per unit. It kind of tells us down here what our list price and what our net profit and what our ROI is going to be whenever we're listing something here. And then you're basically going to fill out the information. You don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this. You don't really need much of this. You do need to enter the quantity. You should enter your cost of goods. You can put in the date if you want. You can put in the supplier if you want. If it has an expiration date, you can put in the expiration date. You can use this to track certain information, but you're going to need some kind of MSQ. It doesn't really matter at the start, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then you select your condition. If your items are new, and then if they're used, kind of go from there and select a condition. And then you're just going to click add to batch, which is down here. And then it's going to be in your batch. And so whenever you've added all the items that you're wanting to send into Amazon FBA and you've filled your box, they're going to the same warehouse here. You can go ahead and click review batch. And if they're not going to the same warehouse, I would delete the odd one out. So let's say 6 of these were going to the same warehouse and one of them was going to another warehouse. Just delete off the one that's going to a different warehouse, and just add that separately later. And then do the shipment with all the ones going to the same warehouse. So once you're done, click review batch and submit, sync, and then you'll click create. And then from there, you're going to do a few steps in Amazon Seller Central. But then once you've hit create and go to Amazon, you'll go to inventory, shipments, and then once you hit create, it's gonna be right here, and you'll click in here and you'll enter the information and it'll give you a label. You'll enter your box measurements and weight, and they'll give you a discounted shipping label in order to send that into Amazon. And once you're comfortable doing that, like your first shipment will probably be pretty uncomfortable, but eventually you will get the hang of it, and you're just gonna have to do this over and over again and master the basics of being able to find profitable products, being able to list these profitable products in a timely manner. And then also the last thing that you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to find a way to change your prices once they're active in Amazon. So there's 2 ways that I would suggest doing this. The manual and free way to do this is that you can do this in Seller Central. So the way that you would do this is, again, you would click here, go to inventory and click FBA inventory. And then once you're in your Amazon FBA inventory, on the side here, you're going to see the price and you're going to see the price here. You can go ahead and change the price however you want. You can click into the listing on the left and you can see what's a good competitive price, and you're just going to want to make sure that your prices continue to be competitive, that way they sell. So that is option number 1. And then option number 2 is 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 has a couple different plans, but this is going to be paid, and so I would not suggest using this until you've actually had some considerable sales under your belt. That way you are able to actually pay for this. I currently use the 𝗏𝗏 AI plan. And so basically what you do with this one is you give it a minimum and a maximum range, and you give it a behavior basically to use in order to reprice automatically for you within that range. And so once you're logged in, you're going to have to set your ranges for the items that you have currently in your store. So you'll be able to do this under listings and active listings. And so once you're on this page, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to set a minimum and maximum range and set a behavior for your item to be repriced with. And so I usually use the sales booster when I'm doing 𝗏𝗏 AI, and I set a range. I set the minimum price at the price I'm wanting to sell it at, and then I set a maximum range just up a little bit so that it has space to reprice up if there is the opportunity to. And then what I'll do is every week or so I'll come back and go through my listings and take a look and see if my prices are still competitive and make the choice whether I want to lower my prices or not. And I would do that by lowering the minimum here. This plan is going to be more like $100 a month, and so I would only suggest doing this once you're actually making profit in your business and repricing is taking you just way too long. And so from here, again, you're going to have to get really good at the basics and put in the time learning how to find profitable products, learning how to list your items, and learning how to reprice your items in a timely manner. Being really good at these basics enables you to actually go from 0 to 10K in sales per month. And with that amount of sales, I definitely think that you can go full time off of that. That is a huge accomplishment. And remember that it is going to take time to actually be able to build up the skills in order to do this successfully. But one step at a time, get 1% better daily, and I believe that you can make some serious money doing Amazon FBA online arbitrage. So if this was helpful to you, then feel free to help me out by sharing this video with someone else who wants to sell on Amazon, or subscribing if you haven't already. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care.